What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Ear Hustling Podcast. It's your boy James. It's your boy Eric. What's up, E? What's going on with you, man?
Not too much. Good evening, people. It is the day before the draft. Looking forward to it. Lots of NBA action. Looking forward to it. This is like a sportsman's dream. I'm sorry, a sports person's dream.
I
This is just like
cannot
my
disagree.
favorite time of the year. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, no, I cannot agree with you more. Um, I wish it was Thursday. 24 hours from right now, the commissioner is going to walk across that stage and he's going to say the beginning of the NFL draft. I cannot wait to hear those words. But I'm going to go a little further out. 1 year from now, we are going to be at the draft in Detroit,
Yes,
Michigan.
yes, sir. Detroit City, USA, Ford Field. And I hope honestly that that draft that we have the last pick in the draft, because if we do, that means that we've won the Super Bowl. So
This
I'm
is very
hoping
true.
for the lowest possible draft position. I mean, that right there in our lifetime, winning a Super Bowl, getting to the Super Bowl.
Mm.
You know what? My dream scenario for the playoffs is for the Detroit Lions to beat the brakes off of the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC Championship and then go on to beat Buffalo in the Super Bowl.
Hey, I don't care who we play. I don't care where we play. First of all, let's start here. Let's win a playoff game, first and foremost. Secondly, let's get to the Super Bowl. And thirdly, let's win the damn thing.
I,
Let's
I
not
this is
be like our good friend Patrick and his friend and get there four times and fall short. But hey, they've been there four times
in a row
in a row. This is
and
true.
lost four
Yes.
times in a
Yes.
row, which is
Yes,
something
this
that
is
the
true.
Lions can say that they've never done. They've never lost four Super Bowls.
That we can definitely say that. But listen, we're gonna shelf NFL for a moment. I'm gonna say, see, that's my number one sport. So I'm gonna say we're gonna save the best for last. So let's talk a little NBA. Like you said, playoffs is going on. You were giving me an update. We almost was late coming on, listening to some updates on games. So why don't you give a quick update on what's going on in the playoffs right now? Who's playing?
All right, so right now we've got the New York Knicks and the Cleveland Cavaliers. It looks like the Cleveland Cavaliers are mounting a comeback. They were down by almost 20. Right now, it's coming towards the end of the second quarter. The New York Knicks lead the Cleveland Cavaliers 59-49 with 53 seconds left. The LA Lake and that particular series is tied 1-1. The LA Lakers and the Memphis Grizzlies are playing. There's 2 minutes to go in the second quarter. The Grizzlies have came back and taken the lead 28-24. 2 minutes, 7 seconds left to go in the first quarter.
Okay, okay. Hey, look, someone said they told you they'd drop by. So
Hey, appreciate you dropping in.
yeah, watching us on YouTube right now. So appreciate that. So
Yep,
let's
that
give
is
a quick.
I'm
Mhm.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. That is one of my coworkers. The companies that we work for, we've got a policy of not mentioning who we work for, but that is one of my coworkers. Appreciate you dropping in, buddy.
Awesome, awesome. All right, so let's give a quick update and talk about any surprises that you see in the playoffs right now. The number one seed. Let's start off with one of the biggest surprises to me. The number one seed in the East, the Milwaukee Bucks, has won one game, and their opponents, the number eight seed Miami, is up 3-1. I'm surprised by that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not surprised that it's competitive, that Miami is competitive, but I'm surprised that Milwaukee's down 3-1. But of course, with Giannis out, it's not a surprise, I'm sure. But what are your thoughts on that? 3-1 Miami up on Milwaukee.
Well, it's definitely a compelling story. If you look at how the Heat season was, they, fought through the play-in to get into the playoffs, and now they're taking the number one seed to the limit. So if Giannis Antetokounmpo, if he was 100%, yeah, the series is probably tied 2-2. So I'm not surprised. We all know that that playoff Jimmy Butler, Jimmy Buckets, we know that that's a different sort of animal. He kind of turns into uh, like a Kobe Bryant sort of guy during the playoffs. So I'm not surprised that they're up 3-1 without Giannis, but I don't think that I think it would be a tie series at 2-2 if Giannis was 100%.
Did you just say Jimmy Butler and Kobe Bryant in the same sentence?
I did. I mean, if you think about it, think about what Jimmy's doing. Think about what Jimmy consistently does in the playoffs. There's no way that the Miami Heat gets to the playoffs without Jimmy Butler. There's no way that they excel. A couple of years ago, they were in the finals. So Jimmy Butler is a different guy. I remember a few years ago when Kobe was still playing that he was just talking about guys with tremendous work ethic, and Jimmy Butler was one of those guys whose work ethic Kobe Bryant admired. So it may sound kind of strange, but Kobe just doesn't go through and handing out compliments to people who he truly don't respect their game. So yeah, I sure did.
Okay, I think that's so far we're 6 minutes into the show, and I think we got our first hot take: Jimmy Butler and Kobe Bryant in the same sentence. All right,
All right.
now
Well, think about it. Think about Jimmy Butler during his career in the NBA. When the playoffs get there, he turns into whatever his team needs: scorer, lockdown defender, rebounder, leader, hustle guy. What can't Jimmy Butler do? What have you seen where you can be like, dang, that's a flaw in Jimmy Butler's game? When the
uh,
playoffs get here, he's a different guy.
I got one for you. One thing that he
What
can't do: he
what's
can't
that?
win the last game.
He can't win a lot. So the fact that they went to the NBA Finals a couple of years ago, is that what you're alluding to? That he doesn't have a chip?
Did he win the last game of the whole season? No, he did not. So you're
Oh,
absolutely
okay.
right. Yep. So that's something he hasn't been able to do, but that's okay. I definitely want to hear. Mr. Whitaker said Kobe is GOAT.
Yep, Kobe
So
is GOAT. Now, Jimmy may be a baby lamb. He may not be the GOAT. Clearly, I'm not saying that he has, the credentials that Kobe Bryant has, the championships and things of that nature. But when it comes to that competitive spirit, when it comes to the will to win, Jimmy does everything. You can't say watching Jimmy Butler, especially over the last 5 years, that he's left anything in the tank when it comes to playing during the playoffs. It's not Jimmy's fault. I'll put it that way.
no, I agree with that. I agree with that. All right. So a
So
series that you just made reference to, New York is trying to finish off Cleveland tonight. New York is
mhm.
up 3 games to 1. Uh, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised in that at all. Cleveland is the number 4 seed. That I'm surprised over. But they got a good roster they've put together. You got oh Jesus, I just drew a blank. Evan Mobley. You got Evan
Okay.
Mobley. Young power forward. Definitely like him. Play. Big man there. Donovan Mitchell, of course. They got a nice little roster, but I'm surprised to see them at number 4 already. But New York, I think is going to definitely take that. Hopefully tonight. What you think? You think they're going to finish tonight?
I do. The thing about Cleveland, the thing that kind of threw me off, and then this is going back to the Miami series, they let Kevin Love go. Now, Kevin Love is now starting for the Miami Heat, and he's putting up some pretty impressive numbers.
Hmm.
Can you imagine how good they would have been if they would have kept Kevin Love?
But you know what? Didn't they have a crowded front court? You got Kevin Love, you got Jared
Hmm.
Allen, you got Evan Mobley. It got get kind of crowded up there. Remind me back in the day when the Pistons had Greg Monroe and not to say he's on the same level, but Greg Monroe, Andre Drummond, and Josh Smith. It's too crowded up there.
Yeah, but I mean, getting rid of Kevin Love though, I questioned that decision. I'm like, why in the world did they let Kevin Love go? And then he went to Miami. One of the things that Cleveland seems to have an issue is with Julius Randle in the front court, just absolutely bullying the daylights out of those folks. Kevin Love is a really good defender, so I think that this series would probably be 3-2. Still New York's way, but I think that with the addition of Kevin Love, that championship experience, he really didn't play a lot, so you wouldn't have to worry about wear and tear on his body. You save him for the playoffs, similar to how the Pistons would use Eldon Campbell
Hmm.
during the playoffs. So Kevin Love definitely can still ball, and I think that he would have been a great addition, especially coming off the bench too, because they've been getting murked, by the New York Knicks in terms of Julius Randle. Nobody can handle him.
Okay. All right. Absolutely not surprised here. Number 3, Philly. takes the series against number 6 Brooklyn 4-0. Not surprised at all. I'm surprised Brooklyn got to the playoffs. What
And
you
they had such a big lead when they had Durant and Kyrie. The fact that they didn't make the playoffs would have been a surprise. The fact that they finished sixth, that was surprising.
All right. Number 2, Boston should have finished off number 7 Atlanta last night, but Trae Young hit a 30-footer. Boston's up 3-2. Have you heard what has happened since Atlanta won last night as far as the game 6 in Atlanta?
Oh boy, who knows what Trae said? No, I haven't heard anything. What did Trae say?
He did say something, but I'm not talking about that part. But it's funny you say that. So what has happened is game 6 is Thursday, tomorrow, here in Atlanta. And what was supposed to happen at State Farm Arena on Thursday night is, yes, Mr. Chris Wall just said it, Janet Jackson. Janet Jackson's concert was supposed to be at State Farm Arena on Thursday. So now since Atlanta has won, Atlanta's game is on a Thursday, and Janet's concert has been moved to Friday.
What the hell?
And I saw, and I'm not reporting this as news because I did not verify, but I saw this on Facebook. So of course it could be doctored. But supposedly Trae Young tweeted something like, sorry, Miss Jackson, but hopefully you can come to the game.
Wow.
And if he said that, I'm like, I'm a fan. I just absolutely love it. I hope he did say that. Chris, do you know if he said that for sure, or was that just a joke?
And hell, if she comes to the game.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be awesome too, I'm sure. But yeah, so anyway, so do you think Atlanta has a chance?
Atlanta always, I mean, they have a chance. Boston looked so passive when they were playing against the Hawks. Like they just knew that they had it in the bag. And I'll be surprised. I thought that Atlanta was going down, and then when Trae threw that 30-footer up, I was like, what? And then it was like, I'm like, oh boy. I'm like, you know what? You can't give a team a chance like that going back to their place too. Ultimately, I think Boston's going to win because I think they got embarrassed. So, they had a chance to close it out. I think that Jaylen Brown in particular is going to wind up having a really, really strong game. I think he's going to be the reason why they win the series. But I think that Trae's probably going to come out and maybe score 45 to try to prevent game 6 from being their last game.
I don't think Trae's gonna come out like that. When I saw Boston put Jason Tatum on Trae, I'm like, Trae can't do much on Tatum. I think they need to have that matchup more often for Boston's sake. Chris says Atlanta will lose this series, and I love my Hawks. Hey Chris, at least your Hawks are in the playoffs, unlike our Pistons. But soon we'll be back. But I think Boston's going to take it. I do. Just look on to the second round. Boston, Philly. I think Boston should take that. Miami, New York. I think Miami will take that. And Miami versus Boston. I think Boston will win the East. You see it a different way?
I'm a little surprised that you are taking Miami over the Knicks.
You think the Knicks will beat Miami?
You know what? They got home court advantage. I think that there's a chance, yeah.
Well, Milwaukee got home court advantage. Cleveland got home court advantage. They're about to get bounced in the first round.
Well, we all know what's going on with Milwaukee. I shared my opinion with you about that. I think that Miami and what the hell is the name of that damn other team? Miami and Milwaukee. I think that the series would have been 2-2 going into tonight as opposed to Miami being up 3-1.
Is Giannis playing tonight?
Yeah, Giannis should be playing tonight.
Wait, so Miami?
No, wait a minute. I'm sorry. He played yesterday. Excuse me. He's playing the next game.
Okay. I was gonna say it's kind of soon for them to play again, but okay, cool. Let's move over to the West. All right, we got a question that we'll get to in a second. What's our opinion on Draymond Stamkos Sabonis? We'll get to that in a second when we get down to that series. Great question.
So speaking of the West, I'm sorry, speaking of the West, just a quick update that the Grizzlies have put ahead of the Lakers 40-30 with 10:36 in the second quarter.
Okay. All right. So Denver has taken care of business and beat Minnesota 4-1. I tell you, I saw a little bit of that game last night, and my man had a good look at that three-pointer at the end, Anthony Edwards. He had a good look at it, but fell a little short. I love how he just continued running out the gym. No handshakes, no nothing. Shoot, miss, run off the court, go back home, get on the plane, head back to Minnesota. Were you surprised in that series?
You know what? Yeah, I am surprised. Anthony Edwards actually has showed me that he very well may be the best player on Minnesota. You know what? That dude has like a total game. So I think of Anthony Edwards as a healthy Zion Williams.
Okay, second hot take of the night. So first
well, I mean,
got
that's how I feel, man.
Jimmy Butler and Kobe Bryant in the same sentence, and now Anthony Edwards is a healthy Zion Williamson. Now, Chris responded hands down. I'm pretty certain he's saying hands down that Anthony Edwards is the best player on the Minnesota's roster. Yeah, I think that's easy. You know, second best, of course, would be Cat. But I think that team was disappointing, to be honest with you. You know, Cat, Gobert, Anthony Edwards, and Chris just agree or said correct that he's the best player on the team. Yeah, they kind of was a letdown, in my opinion. They had to battle to get into the play-in tournament to make it number 8. I'm a little disappointed in that roster.
Well, injuries, obviously, Cat being hurt, no really way to gel with, all of the main pieces. Who is the go-to guy? It's been Cat up until probably this year has been the go-to guy. Rudy Gobert just doing dumb stuff, swinging on your teammate, and your teammate out of anger winds up breaking his damn hand by punching a wall. It's like, man, who's controlling this damn team? It's just the inmates were running the asylum. So they definitely, in my opinion, should be a little better than what they are. But you know what? At the end of the day, like I said, there's no leadership on that team, in my opinion. So that's why they underachieve, because there's no leadership. The owner finally had to put his foot down. He suspended Gobert. From what I understand, there's been conversations, any more situations like that out of Gobert, he's going to be gone, which might explain why the Utah Jazz found him expendable, because look at how he disrupted Utah.
You talking about when he shut down the league?
Yeah, pretty much. Touching microphones, shaking hands, kissing babies. Of course, I'm exaggerating about the last couple of parts, but it's like, dang, man, like, come on, dude, grow up. It's like, why behave like that? But hey, man, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
This is true. Yeah, that was crazy. They have no control of themselves. What Mr. Whitaker said. So now, number 4, Phoenix took care of business against number 5, the Clippers, 4-1. Clippers. Let's Princeton pointed this out, so I'm repeating what he said, and it's so true. Russell Westbrook gets bought out with the Lakers. He gets picked up by the Clippers, and all of a sudden he's the best player on the roster, or best player playing, I should say. Mm-hmm. That's interesting, and he was a different Russ in the other locker room than he was when he was with the Lakers, that's for sure. But Kawhi, the report came out today saying he has a torn meniscus. I heard someone say if he gets a hangnail, he's going to have to get medevaced out. It was hilarious. I'm like, I so agree with that. But he may have a torn meniscus, so he may be down for a minute, contemplating surgery. PG, not healthy. Clippers couldn't catch a break in this series.
Oh, no, actually, they could catch a break, which is exactly why they're in the position that they're in. They caught all of the breaks. broke meniscus, whatever PG's injury is. So, yeah, they caught plenty of breaks. What do you do with a team like that? I think there
Blow
was
it
some
up.
sort of stat like the 3 seasons that they've played maybe 32 or 34% of the uh, games that they've been under contract with the Clippers with. You get Westbrook in there, and hell, Westbrook and Powell. We can't forget about Powell. Powell had a pretty good series too. They fought hard. I just don't. I don't get it. So what are our thoughts on load management? Shit, apparently it's not doing much good, at least not with the Clippers. Um, I'm not really a big fan of load management. I think that might be the reason why people are being hurt because their conditioning is off. You go in there and your body just doesn't respond well. If we look at Kawhi, how he played when he was with the San Antonio Spurs when he won his first chip, there wasn't any load management there.
I mean,
And and when he was in Toronto, he really didn't get hurt like he has over in LA. Um, Not a big fan of load management. I do believe that yeah, you do give your players a rest during the year, but man, I think that they've just gone overboard with this load management stuff.
yeah, Kawhi, his load management, not playing in back to back games. I need to look up next opportunity I get. I'm gonna look this up. How many games has he played over the last few years?
I will
That's
I
okay.
will look
Yeah,
that up.
please do. So I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of load management. You know, can we do that in our? This is what I like to look at the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball, National Hockey League, all sports leagues, it's their job. This is a player's job. It's entertainment for us. It's their job, though. Can I take a load management day at work? I'm going to
And
call
not
my
keep your
boss
job.
tomorrow and say, hey, V, I need a load management day today and see how that works out for me. Eric, you do the same. Call your boss and say, I need a load manage. Well, you're off tomorrow, so you're good. But on Saturday, call and ask for a load management day.
Yeah, okay. So I'll definitely be asking you for a job, like load
I
management.
got you. I got you. Don't
Yeah,
ask me
but
for a
like
load management day. But
right.
so help me out here. Is it Cody
Yeah,
Whitaker?
it's,
Cody? Is it Cody? I'm asking you a question.
oh, you're asking me or you're asking?
Yeah,
Okay, it's
I'm
Cody.
asking you. I'm
Cody.
asking you, is that his
I'm sorry.
pronunciation of his
Yes,
name?
yes.
Thank you. Thank you. He said he felt like a lot of the blame was put on Westbrook when it wasn't all him while he was with the Lakers. I totally agree. I
No,
totally
no,
agree. It
no.
was not him. We're talking about a Hall of Famer, no doubt about it, averaging a triple double multiple years in a row. It's not on him. He didn't lose his way. He didn't. It was not on him. He was a scapegoat.
He definitely was. And I've got Kawhi's uh career games played stats up. So we're going to start in 2017. He played 74 games with the Spurs. The last year, 2018, he played 9. 2019, he played 60. 2020, it was the pandemic. He played 57. So I think they only played like 64 or 65 games. 2021, he played 52. 2022 he played 52 games. In 2023 he played 52 games.
So 60 games is the most he's played in the regular season, as far back as you went.
Yep. Grand total 74 in 2017. That's the most games that he played. So when he was with the Spurs, he didn't really miss a lot of games. 66, 64, 72, 74, and then the year he was injured 9.
Yeah. I heard someone on Sports Talk Radio say that they think that he may not be trustworthy of doctors, and he's just being extra precautious because the way things went down in San Antonio. But the counterpoint was Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, David Robinson, Tim Duncan. None of them had a problem with the doctors in San Antonio.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
And
nevertheless,
and looking at Paul George, I know we weren't talking about him, but man, Looking at so his career high for games played was 81 back in 2016. Then there were 75 games, not bad. Uh, 79 games in 2018. The Thunder, he played 77 games. Then when he got to the Clippers, 48, 54, 31, and 56. Is it maybe the training staff in LA?
I don't know. Great question. Well, so the series that my eyes is locked on, number 3 versus number 6. Number 3, Sacramento. Number 6, Golden State, tied at 2-2. That last game, game 4, was a great game. A great game. But let's rewind back to game 2. Cody asked, so I'm not sure what Jerry says Eric knows, but you know something, Eric. What's up, Jerry?
Thank you. Hey, what's going on, Jerry?
Congratulations on the big day, Jerry. Eric, I don't know if you saw, but Jerry tied the knot. He jumped the broom.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah, him and Chris are official now. No, I'm just kidding. No, but congratulations, though, Jerry. Nevertheless, so Cody asked the question. Game 2, the Draymond Green stomp. You're going. You are on a roll, sir, with 2 hot takes today. So I really want to see what you got on this one.
You know me, man. You know how I play basketball. Like if somebody grabs my foot, I'm doing exactly what Draymond did.
So like did you have a problem with what he did?
I didn't have a problem with what he did in retaliation to what was being done to him. If he had initiated that whole situation, yes, I'd have a problem. But if I am, man, look, you know me. If that was me, I probably would have did a little bit worse. I probably would have leg dropped him. But yeah, that was some bull crap though. It's like Sabonis didn't even get. I don't even think he even got fined.
I don't think so either.
So, in what place do you initiate, an act of aggression, and then the other guy for retaliating winds up getting thrown out? I'm not even going to say yeah, it was a retaliation. Some people felt that he may have gone overboard. I can see that, but you got to know your audience. You don't pick a fight. That's just like if this was the world of wrestling. That's just like Tito Santana fighting Roddy Piper, right? And then Tito decides he wants to cheat first. You already know that if you open up that can of worms, you already know that you're gonna get got. So you don't do stuff like that, Sabonis. I mean, Sabonis doesn't exactly have a reputation of being a clean player. Now, I like Sabonis. He's a physical guy, but man, you got to know your audience. You can't expect that you can grab somebody's leg and don't think that they're going to retaliate. I mean, he's a Michigander. He's a Flint boy. What do you think was going to happen with Draymond? You think he was just going to let that slide?
But see, here's the thing, though. You're coming at it from an angle where Sabonis is acting like he's a victim. I'm actually siding with Cody. What he's saying now. They knew with Draymond's history they could bait him, and that's 100% true. They knew exactly what they were going to get out of Draymond. So. Honestly, they were kind of smart, to be honest, but now here's the thing. Jerry asked, what did Draymond accomplish by kicking him? So, you know what? He didn't accomplish anything. Here's where they got lucky, though. Draymond could have been a big detriment to his team by getting suspended for game 3, but the Warriors came through. I listened to Draymond's podcast right after game 4, and he said that he was talking about him, John, and getting a double tech with what's the dude from Sacramento, their star,
Fox, De'Aaron Fox.
Yes, De'Aaron Fox. They were jawing back and forth with her. He said it's okay. He was like, I'm not going to change who I am. I'm not going to change the way I play the game. He said, because if we got double teched, he was like, yeah, me and De'Aaron's going to be both thrown out the game. His exact words were, that's going to be more of an issue for them than it is for my team. My team's still going to be able to pull it out without me on the floor. He's like, but can they? So honestly, Sabonis had the same mindset, in my opinion. Did they need Sabonis? Yeah. But who's going to be a bigger loss? Sabonis or Draymond?
You might say Sabonis. He was an all-star this year. He's been playing at the all-star level for the last couple of years, even when he was with Indiana. So he's an intricate part. He's like their second. He's their second best player on their team. So I think it would be a bigger loss if you look at Draymond in the pecking order. Draymond is probably, you can argue that he's the fourth best person on this team, maybe even the fifth. You've got Steph, you got Clay, you've got Wiggins, and you got Jordan Poole. You got I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but you've got some wiggle room if you lost Draymond, that it's not going to hurt them as bad.
So here's a question, and I want to make a point. Jerry said, would you trade Sabonis for Draymond? Jerry answers his own question, says no.
I might.
So I guess it probably don't matter. But I guess who are you trading? Are you trading Sabonis? What you said, would you trade Sabonis for Draymond? Personally, I would want Draymond on my team over Sabonis.
You said you would?
I would. Draymond's basketball IQ is off the freaking charts. Some of the things that he does that does not show up on the stat sheet, you hear that cliche all the time, but some of the things he does that doesn't show up, it's second to none. On his podcast, he said, and this is what I thought was very interesting. He said, Steph calling a timeout, he said that was on him. He said it wasn't on Steph. He said he's the guy in the huddle that tells everyone we don't have any timeouts left. He was like, he gives updates. He said he also was supposed to trail the play in case Steph did get double teamed so he can be an outlet. He takes accountability for stuff that probably really wasn't even his fault. But all the stuff he does, he's a tough physical player. Us from Detroit, we can appreciate that. The list goes long for people like that. Most recently, Ben Wallace. We're looking at Rick Mahorn. We're looking at Bill Laimbeer, Dennis Rodman. The list continues. He is – I would keep Draymond over Sabonis any day of the week personally.
Okay.
I wouldn't build my team around him, don't get me wrong.
Well, okay, understood. But, yeah, I mean, you make some excellent points there that, you know what, he is the glue guy that I guess keeps Golden State.
Yeah, so this is a little before my time, but Jerry says Marty Embry. I'm not sure who that is.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Marty Embry. Who is he? Who does he play for?
I'm guessing based off of what we were talking about at the time. I'm thinking that's I'm guessing that's a former Piston possibly, but let's look it up. So, but Jerry said Draymond could not check Eric.
Well, thank you. I don't know if you're, giving me kudos or if you're condemning him.
So Jerry said he played at DePaul. Jerry, was that a former Piston? So while we're waiting on that, so the question is, does Golden State beat Sacramento? Do they take the series?
Yes, they do.
I think honestly their confidence is shot right now, Sacramento. You should have beat the Draymond-less team if that was your plan to bait them and get them to get into character. It didn't work because you didn't win that game. You didn't win game 4. You gotta win game 5. You absolutely have to win game 5. But I think Golden State wins. Once again, I kept saying this last game, Sacramento hasn't been there. Golden State has.
And if I can add this, De'Aaron Fox looked exhausted during the fourth quarter of that game. When he was pulling up, for his jumpers were coming up short. He was getting gassed, running around trying to check Steph. They were bouncing him off of screens. De'Aaron Fox is a smaller guy. So he's been taking some punishment. And like I said, he hasn't he's been in the league, 4 years? I think he hasn't played this deep into the playoffs before, even though it's the first round. So I think with him next year will probably be better for him because he'll be conditioned. But I looked at his condition and it looked a little suspect to me.
Well, Chris asked who can win a road game, and that's very true because the home team has won every game. I think the answer to that is Golden State. I think they can win a road game, and that someone has to win a road game. They don't have to, but I think Golden State obviously will have to. But I think they'll take Game 5. Then they're gonna go up 3-2.
If they don't take Game 5, I don't feel confident that they'll win a Game 7 in Sacramento.
We'll see. I can't wait to. As a matter of fact, tonight, Game 5 is tonight, isn't it?
Game 5. Let's see here.
At 10 o'clock, I believe.
Yep, I believe, Mr. Montgomery, you are right. Knicks Heat. Yep, 10 p.m. tonight.
Awesome. And lastly, finishing out the first round, I do have a question or two about the NBA before we move on to NFL. Memphis, number 2 seed, number 1, have 1 game, and the Lakers 3. So Lakers can look to finish Memphis off tonight. Surprise?
You know what? Even though the Lakers are trailing right now 58-47, coming up on halftime, I think the Lakers are going to win.
Win tonight or win the series?
Yep, tonight.
Okay. Well, I think the Lakers is going to do it as well. I don't know if they'll win tonight, but I think they'll definitely finish the series off. Now, here's what's interesting. So we got the Lakers we're predicting to win the series. Miami is in a great place to beat Milwaukee. We can't quite count Atlanta out. And then the other 8 seed in the West, or the 8 seed in the West, lost already. So 3 of the 4 games that involved a play-in participant, the play-in team might win. And this will be the first time in history that a play-in team has won a series. So I think it's very strong possibility to see 2 teams do it, Miami and the Lakers. I think Atlanta's going to be a long shot. I don't predict them to beat Boston at all. But that's pretty interesting. I hope we do see Miami and Lakers pull off the series win.
That would be that'd be a hell of an accomplishment. So are you trying to say that Denver would be vulnerable to the Lakers if they wind up playing against each other? A healthy, engaged Anthony Davis?
First of all, Denver plays Phoenix next, so they're not going to get past Phoenix. So then you're looking at Golden State Lakers, hopefully. That's the reason I really want to see Golden State. Hopefully, so that's 6 versus 7. Real sexy right there. Hopefully, you have Golden State for me take care of business and put LeBron out of his misery. And then Golden State versus Phoenix. So KD playing against his former team. It's hard for me to root against or bet against Golden State. Chris just said Denver beats Phoenix in 7.
I don't know, man. The way Devin Booker's been balling, I don't know, man. Booker been playing out of this world.
Well, we all know Chris Paul's kryptonite, that one referee. I forget his name, but so he's never won a series or a playoff game with him as the referee. So I'm sure he's going to get the draw at one of those games. So we're good there. But I'm saying it. So my prediction, it looks like, is a rematch from last year, Golden State versus Boston for the NBA Finals. I think it's Boston's year. I think they'll do it.
You think they'll beat Golden State?
I do. I think they would.
Whew. Man, that's a good one. I don't know if they get past Miami. If Miami do and they wind up meeting it, I don't, man, it's something about with me. It's something about the Miami Heat.
So switching gears, we're still staying in the NBA. Some awards was announced. And Banchero, not to anyone's surprise, won Rookie of the Year. He received 98 out of 100 first place votes. But to me, this is what's a little surprising. Jalen Williams, Walker Kessler, and Banchero were the finalists for the Rookie of the Year. No Jaden Ivey. I'm a stats guy. Look, went to stats. Banchero, 33.8 minutes, 20 points, 6.9 rebounds, 3.7 assists. Solid. Like I said, no surprise. Well deserved Rookie of the Year. Let's go to Jalen Williams. 30 minutes, 14.1 points, 4.5 rebounds, 3.3 assists. I can see why he's a finalist.
Okay.
By the way, Banchero plays 72 games. Williams plays 75. Kessler plays 74 games, 23 minutes a game, 9.2 points, 8.4 rebounds, and 0.9 assists. Jaden Ivey, 74 games, 31.1 minutes, 16.3 points, 3.9 rebounds, 5.2 assists. So as far as games, he tied the second most of those four players. Minutes, second most minutes. Second most points. The least amount of rebounds, not surprised, he's a guard. And the most assists. And he wasn't a finalist. I'm really surprised by it. Was he snubbed?
Yeah, I think he should have got some more consideration. But if you really look at Detroit as a whole, what would be the worst or the second worst record in the league?
Worse. Yeah, worse.
So I think had there been more wins involved, then he would have got more consideration. Not that Orlando had that many wins over the Pistons, but it is Florida, versus Michigan. So I'm not surprised. I mean, hell, Cade Cunningham didn't win Rookie of the Year either. And that right there was a travesty because there's nobody a rookie balled better than Cade.
So I'm once again, I'm not comparing, or I'm not saying he should have been Rookie of the Year. Shannon Slay, what's up? What up, though? Our fellow Detroiter. So I don't think so. Shannon says we was robbed for Rookie of the Year. So are you talking about Cade or are you talking about Jaden or both? But Magic, you said they didn't win many more games than Detroit. They actually doubled the win total. Magic scored.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Magic had 34 wins and Detroit has 17.
Okay. Then I think that was the deciding factor. The rookie who contributed the most towards an improvement. Maybe that's a criteria.
But I'm not comparing or saying he should have been Rookie of the Year. I'm saying that he should have been a finalist over Kessler. He played 8 more minutes than him. He scored 7 more points average. Oh my God, 500% more assists. So that I'm just saying 5.2 to 0.9. So I mean, she said Cade for sure. Cade was on a team that was rebuilding. Yeah, I agree. I think Cade should have definitely won Rookie of the Year. I don't think Ivy should have won Rookie of the Year. Hands down, it should have been Cheryl. I question who got the other 2 votes. That should have been unanimous. But I think Jaden Ivey should have been in consideration. He should have been a finalist.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to take a look to see how that ballot was. But yeah, I'll agree. Definitely agree. But obviously we figured that the nod was, Orlando had more wins. They were in contention for the play-in up until the last, couple of weeks of the season.
Well, one thing that was not a surprise, last thing for NBA, Sacramento Kings Coach Brown was the Coach of the Year. Mike Brown did a phenomenal job in Sacramento. He definitely deserves. That should be unanimous. I didn't see the ballot, but that should be unanimous.
Yep. They could thank Joe Dumars because he put that team together very well before he left off for greener pastures to be the NBA's executive vice president. But yeah, Mike Brown did a tremendous job coaching the Sacramento Kings. They were steady the entire year. Can't say anything bad about Coach Brown. He definitely got them boys primed and ready to be a scary team over the next like 3 to 5 years.
Yeah. And I just looked at it, unanimous. All 100 voters had him number one. So
Okay,
that's
I
not
have
a
to
surprise
agree.
at all. Yeah, no
I have
doubt.
to agree. Congratulations, Coach Brown.
Yep. All right, shift gears here. Definitely spent a lot more time on the NBA than I anticipated. I'm not gonna lie to you. So just a couple quick talking points on NFL, and anyone watching, please chime in as well. First question: will Lamar Jackson get traded during the NFL draft?
No.
Do you think he'll get traded at all?
Yes.
Sports Illustrated CBS had a okay. Jerry says no. Cody said you and him didn't get to finish our Lions wide receiver talk, got cut off in the work meeting. So, how
Okay.
dare y'all get cut off in a work meeting from talking about the Detroit Lions wide receivers?
Hey, we bosses, we finished our assignment early and we had a chance to, chop it up and talk some sports. So we'll definitely cover that, the Detroit Lions receiver situations for sure.
So Chris says no, that he won't get traded. Jerry said no. Got a couple of no's. So I personally think he will not get traded during the draft. But as I was saying, Sports Illustrated or CBS, one of the two had predicted that he's going to be traded to San Fran for Trey Lance and obviously some picks. But Trey Lance is on the block. He is being shot, but John Lynch has said they're not aggressively doing it, but that'll be interesting.
John Lynch, if he's he's a liar. Say that you aren't planning on doing anything with Trey Lance, and if it does wind up happening, I think it's going to happen after the draft, after both teams feel whatever needs they have to tailor to the particular, for the swapping of the quarterbacks. But yeah, if I'm John Lynch, I'm totally lying and be like, no, we're not trading Trey Lance, and then we mess around and get Lamar Jackson. That would be great for their team.
That would be.
I'm thinking, you know what? I don't know if they would actually do this, but can you imagine Lamar Jackson on the Tennessee Titans?
Who's he going to throw to?
You got Derrick Henry for one. You and Derrick Henry are just grinding it out. If Derrick Henry is still with the Tennessee Titans, I heard some crazy rumors about him maybe going to Philly, but nah, I don't think that's going to
happen. Who knows if he's going to stick around in with the Titans? So Chris said Eric. I don't know what that means, but he just said Eric.
Like for real? Like you talking about the Tennessee Titans comment?
Hey, you're on the road with hot takes, so it is what it is. Reactions to the Aaron trade.
Aaron?
Yeah.
Man, I don't. You know what? I think that Green Bay probably got rid of Aaron Rodgers a year soon, but I think Aaron Rodgers' decline is not going to happen this year. If he sticks around, I think it happens next year. So I think that Green Bay traded him while they can get the highest trade value for him. Now I don't really know what's going on with Jordan Love. A couple of times I've seen him play, wasn't impressed at all. But I think the Jets are going to have a good run this year. Next year, that's where I think the fall off is going to happen.
So you say a year too soon. I say a year or two too late. That doesn't mean that he's on the decline, but I think they could have gotten more for him a year or two earlier. Jerry said he cut his hair, so that's a plus. That is a plus. So I wish he would have went to the Yankees. I know different sport, but we know they have tough rules on look. Chris says, "Who cares? Buffalo is better." That also is true. So the Jets now become maybe the third best team in that division. I still think they might even be chasing Miami, to be honest, but they definitely have a solid offense. No doubt about it. Gary Love gonna stink it up, Jerry says. That's 100% true, and that's great for our Lions. Yep, he just said good for us. So just to recap on that, so they're swapping number ones. So Green Bay 15 moves up to 13. Jets move back to 15. Green Bay gets a second round pick this year, a sixth round, and a conditional second round pick next year. Only condition is if Aaron Rodgers plays 60%, 65% of the plays this year, then that moves up to a first round for Green Bay. So they got a few good draft picks, whatever. I don't think it's mind blowing, which once again why I say it's a year or two too late.
Okay. I think 60% of the games, man. I think that's really low hanging fruit.
65% of the plays.
Play 65% of the plays. I think that's low hanging fruit for Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't have a history of getting injured, so yeah, you might as well go ahead and chalk that first round pick up, because I don't see him, unless there's some sort of catastrophic injury with him, I don't see him doing the NBA's version of load management. I mean, the NFL's version of load management. But I mean, hey, it is what it is.
And I don't wish this on him at all. But he is going to face that tough Buffalo defense twice. So who knows what those players, once they get in the backfield, who knows what's going to happen to Aaron. Draft tomorrow. We said it, 12 hours away. Less than 12. I'm sorry, 24 hours away. We're 23 hours away now. Carolina first pick. Who does Carolina take? First pick overall.
Well, you know what? Bryce Young is a hot take. So, do you think Bryce is going to get drafted number one to Carolina?
It keeps a toss-up between Bryce and CJ. I heard something came out about CJ about some tests. So I really don't know what the deal is with that. So prediction is CJ may drop because of some test scores. Once again, I haven't had an opportunity to research that. But I honestly think, personally, I don't like Bryce. Not as my number one. I think CJ is going to be the better quarterback. Ohio State and Alabama, neither one of those schools have a great history of quarterbacks being successful in the league. So it's interesting. Those are the top two.
Do we count Jalen Hurts as an Alabama quarterback?
We do. I think we do.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we do. But his game has evolved a great deal since he played at Alabama. C2 scores. What is C2 scores? I'm not familiar with that. Thanks, Cody. So yeah, I saw something about some test scores. There was some issues, but gonna have to definitely look into C2 scores. But Jalen definitely changed when he was at Alabama. In my opinion, he was a run first quarterback. The thing was, he can't pass, he can't throw the ball. So Cody says that got cleared up on Pat McAfee's show with the person who made the C2 test. Okay. All right. So that's good news for CJ. But so Jalen goes to Oklahoma. It's the Wonderlic test. Okay, got it. Okay. Thanks, Jerry. He goes to Oklahoma, and now he's passing the ball all over the place. Total different quarterback, and he brought that into the NFL. So he's definitely evolved since his days at Alabama. So like I said, I think Stroud. I think Stroud's going number one. That's my prediction. So you say, excuse me. So you said Bryce. Okay. Houston. Do they go quarterback?
Let's see. Houston is picking number. Well, I mean, you almost kind of have to, because you almost have to. I wouldn't be surprised if Houston maybe even traded out of that second pick, maybe move down a little bit to acquire some more picks, because they've got a lot of holes to fill. But if not, maybe they draft CJ Stroud. Maybe they draft Anthony Richardson. I don't know. Houston is an intriguing team with so many needs. I would trade down, because there are some decent quarterbacks in this year's draft. Don't trade yourself so far down where you don't get a chance to lock up one of those. But if somebody wants somebody bad enough and we can swap picks, I'd swap picks.
So Jerry said Stroud failed the test 3 times now. Twice on Saturday after Thanksgiving, and then the written test at the combine. Go,
Damn.
Jerry.
Kyler Murray in the house.
So, of course, he's referencing the Saturday after Thanksgiving, the game against Michigan 2 years in a row. So, good one, Jerry.
Okay.
Um,
Go blue. Go blue.
So Cody says Young for sure, and no, Houston takes a defense pick. Chris says Houston doesn't go quarterback if they pick. Jerry says go blue, baby. So I too think Houston, they need a quarterback, but they also need a lot. So I really think they're going to go defense as well. I think Will Anderson comes off the board number 2. Is what I think for Houston.
God, I want him to go to Detroit so bad.
So I'm torn. I'm torn for Detroit. If I had my perfect wish list at number 6, I would love Will Anderson, but I also would love Jalen Carter. Both of those are difference makers on the defense. So put Will on the opposite side of Hutchinson. I love it. I love it.
I think either way it goes, Detroit is in a very, very good situation in this draft because they made tremendous strides showing up their defense through agency.
Oh, you sound really faded out, sir. I don't know how to talk.
Sorry about that.
There we go.
Sorry about that. So we were really, really aggressive in free agency. So we sold up a lot of issues that I thought we were going to take care of in a draft. So I am hoping that they get that line addressed so we can have that massive pass rush that a lot of successful teams have. That's what I'm hoping for. It's like just, let them go. Blitz. Every down. Kill the quarterback.
So I'm about to start a huge rivalry in the chat group right now. And I'm just going to watch the punches fly. Cody says, and Chris, you're going to love this. Wait, no, not that one. Wrong one. Go Dogs. So I'm just going to sit back and watch the fist fly. I'm just going to do it. That's all I'm going to do. And I'm going to wait for the comments. And I need my popcorn right now. But anyway.
Oh, Cody. Cody doesn't know what he's done. You can't blame him.
So, no, he doesn't. He doesn't know what he did. Arizona number 3. They're definitely not going quarterback. I feel they're definitely going defense. I don't think an offensive weapon is good enough to go that high. So I think they go defense. So this is where if Anderson is still on the board, he goes. Jalen Carter could go here, but maybe one of the other edge rushers may go here as well. But they definitely going to go defense, I think.
I got a question. Jalen Carter or Will Anderson, depending on whose mock draft you look like, is projected to go to Detroit. Or in some pools, you've got Devon Witherspoon, the corner out of Illinois. So out of those 3, what would be your preference?
I'm surprised. So Chris dropped back and said, "I cannot say anything. They won the last 2." Wow, I'm shocked.
Married life has mellowed Chris out. How about that?
Well, he's been married though, so that was Jerry that just got married.
Well, I'm sorry. Well, married life probably has mellowed Chris out. That much.
So Jerry says Carter all day, and I apologize, Eric. I was reading Chris's comment. And Cody, the reason you can't see anyone else's comments, you're watching on YouTube. These other guys are watching on Facebook, so only comments you'll be able to see, unfortunately, is when I post them up live for us. So, and trust me, if there's anything that's said about you, Cody, I got you. I'm going to post it. Jerry says Carter all day, not since Aaron Donald. So you asked a question about Carter, Anderson, and who was the third person?
Witherspoon. He's a corner out of Illinois.
Yep.
Devon Witherspoon.
He's good. He's really good. I don't think the Lions go Witherspoon at all at this point because of what they did in free agency. They signed 2 starters. They got rid of Okudah. There's not a need for another starting cornerback caliber. They do need to possibly address the nickel. So he's out. I don't think you go wrong either way on Anderson and Carter. If Anderson can bring that pass rush to the NFL that he did in college, I would definitely love to take that. He can play, as the outside backer, hand in the ground from the 2-point stance. He could rush. I love him. But I love the comparisons to Jalen Carter and Aaron Donald. It gives us a possible chance to right our wrong in passing up on Aaron Donald years ago. So I agree with Jerry Carter all day.
Okay.
Okay. I gotta. I'm not gonna read this. I'm just gonna post it, and I'm just gonna leave this here.
Okay. Wow, really, Chris? Okay, that's the Chris I know.
So I'm just gonna just put that there. He said, "I'll down my bulldog heel, and Jalen is a great 3 technique and can eat a double team. Also, dude picked up a whole grown man while holding up the number 1."
Wow.
All right, so that's that. But so we're not gonna finish out the top 5. My question to you now, Eric, is this: does the Lions change their draft approach with the suspension of J-Mo?
Not the 2 first-round picks, but I think in the later rounds.
I think definitely. So I kind of see where you're going with that, and I can understand that. I think if wide receiver was not on your list, it is now. But Jerry said, bet they do. What I would love to see happen, and Jerry and I kind of chatted about this a little bit. Jerry is a big fan of Bijan Robinson at 6. If he's there and those 2 defensive guys are gone, I'm all for it. Grab that running back. If you do that, Cody, don't hate me for saying this, but shop Swift. Shop Swift gets picks, as many picks you can, best pick you can. You're not going to get a number 1, of course. But I say number 6, go Bijan Robinson if, once again, Anderson and Carter is gone. And at number 18, and Chris just said this, with the second first-round pick, be a wide receiver, I say Quentin Johnston from TCU. I say go get him.
Wait, but John Robinson, he's a running back, right?
Yes, from Texas.
You draft a running back at 6?
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. Think about this. First of all, offensive weapons. What good offensive weapons are out there in this year's draft?
Outside of quarterback, yeah, but man, 6 for a running back?
Yeah, he's been mocked right around that, late, right before the double digits. I've seen him I've seen him at 6 in some mocks at Detroit, no higher than that. I have not seen him go before 6, and I've seen him go as far. There's no way he makes it to 18. No way he makes it to 18 at all. Anywhere between 6 and probably 13 at worst is where he's going to go, I think.
Okay. I would be really surprised to see the Lions take him at 6 with the way that they're trying to concentrate on their defense. They did get Montgomery from Chicago. They do have Swift. He's injury prone, so I can understand why you would want to shop him. I am just really surprised to hear you say the Lions take a running back at 6.
So look at what Jerry says, and this is fact. Watch Bijan in the open field, closest thing to Barry. Plus can catch. Once again, and as Cody says, Swift's been hurt too much here recently. He's been hurt his whole career. Even when he was at UGA, he had some injury issues. That was my concern when we drafted him. When he's on the field, dude's a beast. Dude is a beast. He's a problem. But he's got to have some load management.
Him, I would agree. Yes, definitely load management. 17 game season? He'll sit him out every 4th game just to make sure he don't get hurt.
I know. Yeah, he's yeah. So trade him. Get a 4th round pick if you can. I'm not really sure you're going to get much else for him. Chris, you're great about your trade value and all that good fun stuff. What do you think Swift can go for and not being biased? Jerry said Bijan can play 3 downs and would not show pass or run.
Mm.
So he should be really good in the next level. He really should. So if we can get him at 6, as long as those 2 defensive players are gone, and Johnson at 18, I would love our first day. You give Jared Goff so many, give him so many weapons there. So I asked Chris, what kind of value can you get for Swift? And his answer, 5th or 6th, or a can of Pringles. I will take
I'll
that
take
can of Pringles.
Sour cream and onion.
Me barbecue. I will take that can of Pringles and that 5th and 6th round pick in a minute. We'll get them gone. I think Jerry said earlier, just cut them, but I would like to get something.
We don't want to have any dead money, on our books. Question. So you're pretty high on Robinson. Now, who did you say the Lions should take with the 18th pick?
Quentin Johnson from TCU, the wide receiver.
Okay. Let's see, where is Quentin Johnson at on the board? Let's see.
So a mock that I saw from ESPN. So this is what they have. Number 1, they got. It's loading. All right, here we go.
Oh, and while that's loading up, I have a coworker whose son has entered the NFL draft. Kind of anxious to see where he's going to wind up placing. His name is Darrell Middleton. I don't know a lot about him, but like I said, he is the son of one of my coworkers. He's hoping to hear his name called in the NFL draft. So from what I was told, he's projected to go on day 2, more likely day 3. Just wishing him the best of luck in fulfilling his dreams, and might get lucky, maybe get some tickets. Hoping that maybe he goes to LA, the Rams.
So your coworker is rooting for him for 2 reasons. 1, because it's his son, and 2, he wants to stop working. I get that. Her son.
Of course. I'm hoping that it happens.
Yeah, I'm hoping it happens too. All the luck to, what was the name again?
His name is Darrell Middleton.
Darrell Middleton. All the luck to Darrell Middleton. Looking forward to hearing his name. So in this ESPN mock draft, they got Bryce Young going number 1 to Carolina, CJ Stroud to number 2 to Texans, Will Anderson number 3 to Arizona, Anthony Richardson number 4 to the Colts, Jalen Carter number 5 to Seattle, number 6 the Lions picking Tyree Wilson, defensive end, Texas Tech, Christian Gonzalez, cornerback from Oregon, to the Raiders at number 7. Devon Witherspoon, cornerback, Illinois, to Atlanta. Peter Skoronski, offensive tackle from Northwestern, to Chicago. Definitely give Justin Fields some protection. The Godfather of podcasts. What is up, Ben? What's going on with you, man?
Hey, what's going on? How's it going there, Ben?
We got Paris Johnson Jr., offensive tackle from Ohio State, to the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'm going to jump ahead here, go down to our Detroit Lions. Number 18, Kalijah Kancey, defensive tackle from Pittsburgh. I am not knowledgeable on him at all. Definitely have to do some work on study on him. And they got Bijan Robinson going 14 to the Patriots.
Ooh. Well, the Patriots definitely need some help for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. And Quentin Johnson, they got him going. It was late round. We got Will Levis going to Tampa Bay at 19. Michael Mayer, tight end from Notre Dame. He's been linked to the Lions. They got him going 21 to the Chargers. Quentin Johnston, wide receiver, TCU, number 25 to the Giants.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So just kind of sticking with the draft, let's talk about, I would need to be an equal opportunity guy. Let's talk about a team that I'm not particularly a fan of, the Dallas Cowboys. Well, first of all, Zeke's gone.
Yes.
And I forgot who they signed. I think it was Brandon Cooks they wind up getting via trade.
Yep.
So what do you think the Cowboys are looking like this year? Is this like Dak's make or break year?
Well, so this is Ben's team, so we're gonna have to be careful here. We don't want to get canceled by Ben. Is this is this Dak's year? I mean, come on. What expectations do you have for Dak? I'll be honest. I am a fan of Dak. I am. As a person, this is kind of like our LeBron's conversation. LeBron, the player, you don't like the guy. LeBron, the man, it's a different story. So that's the way I feel about Dak. His playing. I definitely want to see more out of him, expect more out of him. But as the man, yeah, I definitely like him.
Last couple of years, he's been like pick city. Don't know what in the world happened to him. Up until 2 years ago, he was pretty solid. I don't know if he's got like the Jameis Winston thing that's going on, that he needs to get some corrective surgery on his eyes. I have never seen a person throw as many picks as Dak Prescott in such a short period of time. What? I mean, the offensive line is decent. He had weapons. Schultz was at the tight end. He had Zeke and he had Pollard. He had CD. I'm just like really just stunned that he threw as many interceptions that he has over the last couple of years.
Here's my question. Here's my question, and maybe I'm stretching here. Dak has gone through a lot. His mom passing, his brother committing suicide. We act like these things don't happen or don't affect people. Now, I'm not saying it's still affecting him, but who knows? Who knows? He was real close to his mom. The brother situation was tragic, kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, I don't know. It took me a long time to get right in my head from my mom passing. And now you add on thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people watching you play a game, but to them it's their career, and they're belittling you because of what you've done. Remember the comments someone made about his brother? That should have been him, or his brother wasn't strong, or just that's tough.
That was tacky. That was very, very tacky and distasteful and very disrespectful. I don't condone that type of behavior.
I got to grieve in private. And you or I, Eric, we lose a loved one, we get to grieve in private at our own pace, whatever that looks like. But anyone watching this show, we get to grieve in private. He didn't get that luxury. He's the starting quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Dak, you're getting paid millions and millions of dollars. Throw the damn ball to the right person. That's all people care about, not the man. So that's kind of a bit of a struggle for me.
Yeah, it's like you brought up earlier when we were having the NBA conversation. It's entertainment to us, but it's their job. We think that money solves everything. Hey, you're getting paid X amount of dollars. You need to, suck it up, and you need to, do this and do that. But at the end of the day, it's definitely family over job for sure, regardless of what the job is. So,
regardless,
I agree. I definitely agree. Like I said, as much as I feel for the Dallas Cowboys, can't really say anything bad about Dak because he is a stand-up guy. He had that horrific injury, 3 years ago? He's overcame a lot, family struggles, personal struggles. So, I'm pulling for Dak, the guy. If he was on any other team, he would be my guy.
So we've asked each other a lot of questions tonight, but this has to be the most compelling question the entire night. And it comes from Jerry.
Uh-oh.
Who's the better dancer, Mahomes' brother or Barney? So
I think we might go with Barney. He's one of the few colored people that I've seen with very little rhythm.
And I guess I'll be another one. But listen,
you did really well at your wedding, man. When you was ballrooming, you were gliding across the floor.
I mean, I'm too big to lie. Let's not lie to the people, sir. Let's not lie to the
Okay.
people.
Well, hey, you know what? I'm trying to be a compassionate guy here. You know that soliloquy about Dak really got me, and it really softened me. So
You know, they sell pills for that.
I don't need those, sir. I mean, I may be over 50, but I don't need that.
Oh, hey, Chris asked, how drunk was I? I did not have a drink at all at my. No, I did not have a drink at all at my reception, sir. I did not. So I was not
What about
drunk.
those shots? What about those shots that we took before we walked down the aisle?
Yeah, that's not true.
I'm
That
just
didn't
playing.
happen.
I'm just
That
playing.
did
I'm
not
just
happen.
kidding. I'm just kidding.
Jerry asks, is there a huddle film of that wedding? There's not a huddle film, but there is definitely film of it. I just got to go
Isn't
here
that
for a second since we're talking about our wedding. What is something that you remember about our wedding, Eric? Eric, and for those of you who don't know, Eric was one of my co-best men, a friend of mine that I've known for a very long time. 1989, I met this guy. He's got a great name. Could never forget it. His name is James. Also, his name is not James. Also, but his name is James. And James and Eric were my co-best men. So, Eric, what do you remember about the wedding?
it was hot as hell. It was hot. That probably was the biggest thing is that man, it was an outdoor wedding. It was beautiful. The skies were sunny. It was hot.
It was windy, but it still was hot as Hades. So I remember a family member looking at me saying, "You owe me," because like I said, it was an outdoor wedding and people was hot, and yeah, that was definitely a good time. So there's two things that stick out to me. There's a lot of things that stick out to me, but two things particularly. Um, One, and I'm only going to say this because I'm talking to you, the fact that you walk down the aisle with someone that 20 plus years later you'll end up dating. Well, about 20 years later, you start dating. That was very interesting.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, you were there with your significant other at the time, your wife,
Right.
and your firstborn was in her belly, and you
Yes, he
walk
was.
down the aisle with a woman that actually more like 18 years later you end up dating.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that's the irony. I guess it was all part of the master plan,
It
huh?
was. You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome. All
She
right.
had me at turkey chops.
I bet she did. I bet she did. Well, listen, man, it's been fun as usual. About to get rolling here. Got any final thoughts before we let you go?
Yeah, well, one, say hello to Shay for me because we usually shout her out at least one time during the show, and hey, we got to the end of the show and almost didn't. So, what's up, Shay? I know you making James look better than what he probably would have if he hadn't have married you.
That's a hard job. That's a
Yeah,
hard job.
and I think she needs a raise. But other than that, no, I really don't have too much to say. Continued health, to everybody. Want everybody to stay safe in America. And Mother's Day is coming up in a couple of weeks. Happy Mother's Day to all of the moms out there. And my birthday is coming up May 6th.
It is. It is. Awesome. Well, of course, I'm not going to wish you a happy birthday yet. I'll talk to you on that day, of course, as usual. But once again, thanks for being on the show today. It was fun. Thanks for everyone that participated in the show. Cody, Chris, Jerry, Ben, Shannon, everyone. Those of you who are those that I just shouted out was ones who commented throughout the show. Thank you. It's been from our mouths to your ears. Thanks for tuning in.
Stay safe, America.